Hello everyone, my name is Cheikh Kebe. I'm the co-founder of Sabali. So this is our second broadcast for Artsy Right Mag, inviting artists, designers, stylists, and visionaries. So welcome, Cheikh.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for coming.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's really an honor for me to sit here and talk a little bit about my career, my life, and speaking to you.
Yeah, same here, same here. We actually know each other from a common friend who, her name is Geneva, amazing artist.
Exactly.
From
Shout out to her.
Shout out to Geneva.
Shout out to Geneva.
Yes. If you were about to introduce yourself, we know that like you touch different medium, like stylist, creative director, designer. But yeah, introduce yourself to the world, to people who are watching us.
Okay, so my name is Cheikh Kebe. I am born and raised in Senegal. I'm a Senegalese artist. I cannot define myself as just one artist because for me it's like, I think as an African creative, we always do a lot of different things. We are kind of skills and I'm thankful for it. So I started my career as I did photography first, and I was studying architecture, and then I was doing a lot of photography, personal projects. And then at some point I wasn't feeling fulfilled enough with the architecture. So I moved on to fashion because my dad is a master tailor. He's a fashion designer too. So growing up with the sound of sewing machines and just the folklore of clothing and stuff, for me, it was in my DNA. So at some point I was like, it was a calling for me. So I woke up one day and I was like, okay, I'm dropping out from architecture. I'm going to do clothing. And my mom was
livid.
She was like, no, you're an architect. But I made it, and I went to the same school than my dad to learn pattern drafting, making the patterns and everything, all of that in Paris. During my studies, I got scouted in the street in Paris, and I started my modeling career. That took me a lot of time, so balancing all my other projects was a little bit complicated because the career was going very well. And from there, I really got into the fashion scene, so I could learn better about like styling and beauty and posing and light and so many different things. I feel like the modeling was a very important part of me because it helped me to make sure that I was in the right industry, because being in it as a model, you get to see everything. It's like backstage, you know. And from that, you make connections, you learn from other people. And so in 2018, I started my brand, Maison Kebe.
Okay.
That I was exploring, and I really officially launched in 2021. Because of COVID, we had a little break, but we came back better. And I'm really happy that all of this journey took me to what I'm doing now. So of course, I do styling too. I do that I've been doing like freelance here and there. Now it gets bigger. So yeah, I cannot define myself just like as a model or just a designer or just a stylist, but as a creative director, I would say, who does like multiple different things from production to photography and all this stuff.
Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, we actually connected through styling.
Yeah.
I wanna learn more about this styling process. How do you process with your styling? And also, like, since you've been kind of like back in Dakar, if you had like one project that like you really enjoyed like working with the client, and also like which project will it be?
Will it be, or it has been?
It has been also.
Okay,
it has been.
Of course there's like, okay, so we're gonna start from the start.
Let's go.
As a creative, I was in Paris and traveling kind of the world. And at some point I felt like I had a calling to go back to Africa, to come back to Africa, even though I was born and raised here. I was coming multiple times in a year. I felt like it was time for us diasporic African to just get in touch with our country. For me, my styling ideas is always even designing. It's always inspired by my mom. Always taking also some signature stuff of my dad, and also Senegalese culture, tout couleur culture. Because my mom is tout couleur Peul, and I try to mix all of these things. Also, I have like my mom's side have like a French background. Her granddad was mixed. So I also try to, for someone who also grew up in Europe, to bring also those little things. But because for me, it's important to also be aware of like, we are from everywhere. As a Senegalese also, and someone who had the chance to have a public in the world, it's really important for me to represent who I am, where I'm from, and my people, because there's not enough of us out there. Definitely. So my inspiration always come from like Senegalese opulence, like the grand boubou and all of these shapes. I love
the
like
musoor.
Exactly. I love musoors. I make it like big. The bigger it is, for me, it's like a crown. It's like a symbol of pride and beauty. Also jewelries. I love jewelries. I love gold. I always try to put gold in my stuff because it's really representative of Africa. Gold is from Africa. It's in our culture, and I always try to just make it as much as possible. Those big tout couleur earrings and like big chains, big rings. For me, it's like really representative of like what I like. And also I always try to bring a like more contemporary and timelessness to these looks, because no matter what, there's like a wide range of public that are not always from Africa, but I want them to relate. I want them to be interested. And that's the challenge, to make sure that no matter what's the background of the viewer, to make sure that this person can relate a little bit with the styling that you do.
Amazing. That's beautiful. I know that like you started in Europe and the US.
Yeah.
And UK, right?
Yeah, also.
So if you had like one of your 3 favorite projects that you have done abroad, can you tell us about the process and also like the outcomes?
As a stylist?
As a stylist.
Okay, as a stylist, I think first thing that comes in my mind and I will remember is one of my first big styling opportunity, which was Vogue. So basically I was in Switzerland shooting, and I just got back to Paris, and I got this email about from like the Vogue Arabia editor-in-chief telling me that they're shooting in Paris, they're looking for a stylist, and they saw what I do, and I was just screaming like, where, how is it happening? Like,
let's go now!
Like Vogue. So I went in it. It was a beauty special, so it was less about clothing, but the clothing is still important. I really enjoyed doing that one because it was a great opportunity with a great team. It was like, for me, challenging because I never had like this kind of big enterprise working with me, so it was challenging for me. I wanted to be perfect, and I remember bringing my Maison Kebe stuff. I was starting, so I didn't have much stuff to bring up. I didn't know, but I figured out, and it was amazing experience. It was beautiful, and still I could relate because it was both Vogue Arabia, so we still had to stay in the codes of like that zone, which still relates with African fashion kind of, because it's really modest but still chic, no nudity and stuff. So it was really nice for me to also explore that. That was my first experience. And another experience I really enjoyed, and I think changed me a lot, that was a few weeks ago. That was Anaïs's like video clip. Honestly, I have no words. No matter if I mix it with all the different stuff I do, even modeling, producing and stuff, that one was, it stays, and I'm gonna remember that forever, because I learned more about myself during that shooting than any time before.
By the way, you nailed it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it because it was so important for me. It was like, I knew it like maybe 2-3 days before, but I made everything, because when I work, for me, beauty is so important, and I really always make sure that it has to be amazingly beautiful and people can relate once again. So having to go around Senegal to places I've never been as a Senegalese, it made me realize how beautiful our country is, how beautiful our culture is, and yeah, me working with these beautiful people, having to showcase also my creativity and the beauty of Senegal, showing all these African designers like L'Artisan and Célie that are really powerful and pioneer here for me that I respect. It was amazing. It was really amazing experience, yeah.
Wow. Okay. We have this last question.
Yeah.
It's about Dakar.
Okay.
We know that Dakar inspired a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people got inspired by Dakar. People coming from abroad, people who were born here. What is Dakar for you as a Senegalese?
As a Senegalese.
And how this city inspired you?
Wow. For me, Dakar is a melting pot. Dakar is so well located geographically. I feel like it's like, I would say, the middle of the world, kind of, because we are not far away from other countries, and also culturally we are quite widely open in a sense, because we had a lot of back and forth of different people and stuff. And what is great about Dakar, I think it's our culture, first of all, in Senegal, and the way we are, the welcoming, you know, the way Senegalese people always make sure people from outside, when they come, they get a good experience about here. Mm-hmm. That is, I feel like it's so respectable to make sure that no matter where your background is, once again, like, you're part of us. We make you discover our culture. You come home, you can eat with anyone. There's these beautiful values that I really relate with. And also, I feel like Dakar has a potential that no one really understands so far. I can see that now it's coming back, and people like me and all the Senegalese that went abroad and are coming back. For me, that I always encourage people to, like, we are lucky to be able to go outside, but I think it's to learn and to come back, because we have to develop our country to help our creatives, to help our community to go further, bring back our knowledge. And I can see so many, like, what I love about Dakar, there's so many creatives. Like, even when I was abroad, I would see like Papa Ibrahima, who just does amazing work. And what is inspiring is that we don't have access to everything. We don't have access to everything, but yet we still figure out to make stuff, beautiful stuff. And just like your work, you know, and all the people you work with. And we have like fashion wise, I think we are the luckiest African country. We have so many clothes, so many fabrics, so many, you can find anything. I feel like this is like a Van Alibaba, literally.
Great. The last question actually is this one.
Okay.
We know that like the creative process and being an artist, being a creative is not an easy road.
Oh no.
So we've been talking about good stuff.
Yeah.
I want to hear the experience, like starting. How was it, and what was the? Can you tell us a little bit about the bumpy roads, so people can know that, like, especially people who look up to you.
Yeah.
They can know that, like, it's not easy.
Yeah. So, for me, when you start a career as a creative, no matter what field, there will always be ups and downs. Downs, you will always have them, that's for sure, and that's part of the challenge. I enjoy the downs because that's when you learn and become better. If you're always perfect, there's no challenge and you don't enjoy it. So, of course, I had down moments, and I think the hardest part is the prep as a stylist, because you have to be ready for any single situation. Because when you are on set, sometimes it's too late to figure out another piece, so it's really important to get ready ahead, understand what the project is, who is the client, communicate well, be really close with the photographer and the team to really make sure you guys are aligned with what you're doing. Because what you have to think is that everyone's work is important. The makeup has to fit with the clothes. The clothes has to fit with the set. The set has to fit with the light. The light has to fit with the photo and the idea. So that's the most challenging. And also you have to run around to find the pieces, to find everything, to make sure you have everything on time. And because the styling moment, it's like a little part of it, because that's what people see. But in the end, the backside, like 99% of it, it's like a lot of prep. And even after the shoot, you still have to get the clothes back and make sure everything is here, you didn't lose anything. Because as big a shoot can be, and with like multiple people to style, as much clothes and stuff you have, and sometimes you cannot lose them because it's someone else's. So yeah, the most challenging part of being a stylist is to make sure to be ready and always aware. You're not sleeping, it's like a producer. For me, if I have to give an example of a moment when I'm someone who's always quite stressed, so I'm always kind of prepped. But the worst part as a stylist is when you get on set, the client is not happy, and or like you feel like you don't know, or the clients feel like they don't feel satisfied yet. I feel like what is important to know is that don't fear. It happens.
Yeah.
Not everyone will love your work.
Yeah.
The most important part is to find a way to communicate with the client, to make sure what is wrong, to get them to let you know. And also, if you are comfortable with your look and the client isn't sure, you have to be comfortable also to show that, to explain them.
Yeah.
Okay, I chose this. So because a lot of people start styling, but they themselves are not sure about what they do.
Yeah.
You have to make sure. Because when you're confident with your stuff, I really doubt the client is gonna doubt you.
Yeah, and sometimes clients, they jump.
Exactly.
Once you just started,
Yeah.
they don't see the process, like where you're going.
Exactly.
So sometimes you just like need to let them know
Exactly.
before they trying to cut you off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's important to find a balance between, like, of course you have to do what they want, but at the same time, never get out of your own work zone, which
Your
means-
identity.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
your identity. It's
Yeah.
your work. It's what's going to be showcased. You don't want to work hard and in the end you're not satisfied with your work and you don't want to share it. You don't want to put it in your portfolio. That's not the purpose. We don't work for that, because the money part is important, but also we're doing this because we're enjoying our job. We chose to do this. It's challenging. It's not easy. You go from nothing, no one knows you, and you have to fight. So the most important part is to always make sure that no matter what, you stay you believe in yourself, and to keep up with the good work, never let go. Even if one job didn't go well, because in the end, like you and the clients are not super satisfied, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It's not a big deal. You can bounce back and get better. The most important part is always to communicate and have a good relationship with the people you work with. Communicate with them well about what you're doing. And I think that is the most important thing.
Nice. That's some good advices. So yeah, I think like that's it. Follow Maison Kebe on Instagram. Thank you so much, Cheikh.
Thank you for having me.
For coming down.
Of course.
For talking about your work. We really appreciate what you're doing. And we see you up top. Let's see you at wherever.
So fingers crossed.
Yes,
We're fighting hard, and thank you so much for having me here. I think it's super important what you're doing right now, because once, like, as a creative, to be spotlighted and seen, and also be able to share your journey to other people that can look up to you or inspired or want to do what you're doing. Like, this helped because we don't have all the same tools. I didn't have no one to tell me. But if I can help other people, I will do it with great pleasure. And this is a platform that helps for that. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next.